I'm delighted to say Jenny Claffey joins us in studio now as well. Morning, Jenny.
Good morning, guys. How are we?
Jenny, hello.
Keeping well.
Hello.
Keeping well. I'm hearing rumours left, right, and centre of these challenges between. I don't know who's involved here. I don't know what's involved. I don't know what sport we're even playing.
Very simple.
Is it paddle? Is it tennis?
The challenge is clear and direct.
Right.
All parties understand it. So for people who are just tuning in, Jenny here represented Ireland at the European Games in paddle. Mm-hmm. Incredible talent to transfer from tennis to paddle. So Adrian Barry totally separately mentioned the idea of him and I playing paddle. Then Jenny told us you have to play doubles. So Jenny's going to play with me and Adrian plus another. Okay. Now Aisling O'Reilly put up her hand. Shane Hannon has put up his hand. Well, Jenny can also recruit her friends, but they'll be too good. That's one challenge.
Would that not make it more fair though? Because then Jenny and her mate can go on different teams.
Opposite sides. I'll be with Jenny.
Then there's a good player with. And her mate might be very good as well.
Her friend Susan can be with Adrian.
This is Susan, your doubles partner.
Yeah. CGC Colin is just teeing himself up there to be on the winning side.
Yeah.
Right. Wow.
I thought this was going to be Jenny versus Colin. I can't believe we're sitting beside each other here.
So that side, that was one challenge, and then the other one was straight up tennis 1-on-1.
I thought the whole idea of all these challenges was you taking on Jenny in a challenge. It wasn't you getting to play with the international athlete. Like, what's the fun in that?
I thought there's one of two challenges.
We'd all love to play football with Lionel Messi on our team, wouldn't we? But like,
you just called you Messi.
I'll take that and run.
I'd walk away now if I was you.
You haven't seen me play football.
Calm down in the morning there.
That's one challenge, and then the other one, as Emma Carroll has just said to us here in the live doc. No. The Friday chat was about tennis, but 1-on-1 with Jenny.
You taking on Jenny in tennis?
Yeah.
Which, what's the point of that?
What do you mean? What's the point?
Well, what's the point in you?
There's a reason. I said to Jenny, if I can win 1 point off you,
1 point,
it's a big deal, right? So anyway, there was a gathering on Friday for Kathleen McNamee, who was watching at the moment in Brisbane having her dinner.
Good morning, Kathleen.
Hello, Kathleen.
Good afternoon.
Good night. You arrived well.
Whatever time it is.
Shane, of course, you weren't there because you had to do a bleep test, which I don't believe. And then in this gathering, we talked about playing Jenny in tennis.
Yeah.
We sent her a voice note collectively.
This was the whole point.
Jenny Claffey responded. I believe we have it.
All right.
I think you guys need to decide when you're ready to take on the challenge, because I think you might need a bit more than 4 weeks, as Aisling mentioned there. But let's get it done beforehand. I love your confidence, but you haven't got a hope.
You haven't got a hope.
Yeah.
I'm happy to put my money where my mouth is.
She's a former professional tennis player.
So Jess Kelly, who is going to be on the show in a while this morning, has offered to actually sponsor the event, and it could be for charity, so we can actually do this.
This would be a great idea.
The tennis or the paddle?
Both.
That's why I'm
presumably preferably the tennis, because Jess wants to see Jenny hammer me, so that's why she's going to charge.
And am I involved in this or not involved? Am I watching from the side? I'll happily watch.
I'll be the umpire.
I'll be the umpire for
that. If we clarify, I thought you said a game. I'm not backing out, but I did think you said a game on text, not a point.
No, I can't win a game against you.
I'm pretty sure it was a game.
No, of course you can win a point.
It could a double fault.
I have to win a proactive point. So unforced error does not count.
You have to beat me in a point.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that's
a rally.
different. I was sure it was a game though, definitely.
A game is insane. You'd have to throw it.
Right, so if Jenny hits long, it doesn't count.
No, I have to proactively win the ball. I have to hit a winner. Yeah, exactly. A winner. Or an ace.
Okay, I'll take that.
On return serve is also fine.
Do you think he'd have a chance of, even in one set, say, do you think he'd have a chance of getting a winner?
Well, I don't know. Has he ever played before? This is the other thing as well.
I haven't played for a year.
Confidently. Yeah. And I'll be grand in a year. It'll be fine.
I love this.
I might be sorry down the line.
All right, there's loads of actual tennis to talk about, but this anyway is the exciting one. We just couldn't keep it to ourselves.
Well, Aisling O'Reilly's injured at the moment as well.
She has to recover another month away, I think she said to me.
That gives him another month to practice.
Yeah, I actually do need to practice.
Great.
I actually do need to practice. Yeah.
Oh, this is hilarious. It's going to be embarrassing, Colin.
Now, am I playing left-handed or right-handed?
You can play what you want. Like, it doesn't matter. I'll win the point.
Ronnie O'Sullivan over here, 2 hands.
Yeah.
Jesus. The tennis itself, Angeber's run. Anytime I see the name pop up, I'm like, Jenny beat her.
It stings.
Was it? You beat her 6-love.
Yeah, 6-love.
That's unbelievable. 2-time Grand Slam finalist.
Yeah.
Did you think she had something special even that day when you were hammering her?
Yeah, she was very good back then. Sorry, she was only about, I was 18, she was 16, or I was 19 maybe, and she had played the Junior French Open only a few weeks before and had won it.
Right.
And then she was playing for Tunisia and I was playing for Ireland, so it was in Fed Cup. They had won the tie 2-0 and that was the third match. But still went out and beat her.
I love it, the confidence.
Yeah.
She's flying in this tournament, but at least the women's draw feels a little bit more open. In which direction do you think it's headed at the moment?
Well, I think it's actually great to see in the women's draw that the last 8 we still have the top 4 seeds.
Yeah.
Do you know, this is the first time I think in over 10 years, way over 10 years, I think that we've had the top 4 seeds, which is kind of a sign of the women's game at the moment. We talked about that last week briefly about how we now have the kind of the top 3 with Swiatek, Sabalenka and Rybakina. So it is good to see them in their righteous places at this stage. I do see those top 3 still progressing now to the semi-finals after today's.
I can't wait for the second quarter-final today, Iga Swiatek against Alina Svitolina, because I was texting you Sunday night, those 2 matches back to back were incredible. Swiatek saving 2 match points in the second set. It was going to be a straight sets defeat against Belinda Bencic, and Swiatek, despite her dominance on clay, and she's 4 Grand Slam titles already, this is the furthest she's ever gone in Wimbledon, to a quarter-final, which is hard to believe. She just hasn't transitioned to grass as well. Then on the other side, Svitolina against Azarenka Sunday night. The atmosphere, oh my God.
Yeah.
Does Svitolina have the game to trouble Swiatek, even if it is on Swiatek's least preferred surface?
I think that Svitolina, with everything that goes with Svitolina at the moment, how there's this hype obviously around she's come back only just after having a baby 9 months ago. She's unbelievably standing strong in obviously the defence of the war in Ukraine, and that's really driving her. She kind of put it down, attested a lot of her success in the last few weeks to like this drive for playing for her country and representing her country, and then I think that that's carrying her that momentum as well, and she's obviously come into some good form since Roland Garros, but I'm not sure against Swiatek. I think she'll push her, but I'm not sure that Swiatek will. I think Swiatek will come through that match maybe in 2 close sets.
But do you think Swiatek will win the whole thing?
I think she'll get to the final.
Right.
Yeah, I said I was kind of confident that she would win it, and then Rybakina is doing better than I thought she was going to.
I think Rybakina will retain it.
Yeah, I do think she's
so dominant on grass.
We see coming into Wimbledon, she had that virus, so she withdrew from Roland Garros, withdrew from another. So we weren't really sure where she was, but I think she looks like she's in good form. Swiatek doesn't look bad, and I do like in bad form, but I do think that match against Bencic will definitely improve her intensity now coming into this match. Like those kind of tight matches really switch you on, and she really is going to focus now, and obviously that'll give her confidence.
If you're Azarenka walking off the court Sunday night and you get booed like that, are you also reacting the way she did? I thought she was quite restrained, even though she did gesture towards the crowd, but it was unbelievable that she got booed.
That was bad, really bad. Yeah, the WTA released a statement there today, or was this morning, about like that the players, like that they were just remaining clear on the stance that Ukrainian players are not going to shake hands with Russian and Belarusian players. So in an effort to stop this booing, because it is really, really poor. Like, what a sour taste walking off that match, losing in a 3rd set tiebreaker, and she after the match she didn't go up to shake her hand, she did nothing, like she gave her the gesture.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was like after such a tough loss, nobody wants to do it anyway, like shake hands with opposition, but then to show in that moment Azarenka really, like, I think she's showing her class by still giving her the credit, and then gets booed.
It was pure
anyway.
ignorance from the crowd. So they assumed, she's lost an extremely tight match. Yeah. She doesn't want to shake her opponent's hand because she lost. So she did a casual thumbs up. But it's like, if the crowd are paying attention, Azarenka actually helps Svitolina to make it less awkward.
Yeah.
To be like, this is what I do.
Svitolina or didn't she come out afterwards and say I wanted Wimbledon to actually make an announcement to let the crowd know of the politics and why?
She's right.
Yeah,
they should.
And that is
they're not going to do it.
They need to do that.
I think the WTA did it instead, so not Wimbledon. So they're the governing body of the game. I think it was the WTA who did come out with a statement, kind of just to say, look, this is the stance, and you need to please try and respect the players. Like, it's a very tricky situation for everyone involved, like for those players, but I think the least the crowd could do is
they need to say it over the microphone at the time. That's what needs to happen, because people because then everyone in the crowd knows what.
Yeah, but how do you word that? I mean, that's also difficult to do it live. Like, I do think that, like you say, that they should have made it clear, but it's very difficult for the umpire. Like, how do you word that? Like,
the umpire can't be like, as the match is over, they're walking up, like, there won't be a handshake.
There won't be a handshake. Exactly. But look, aside from the booing, the atmosphere was absolutely incredible at the end of that game.
That was.
And I think it actually increased the standard of both players as well, and the power of the ground strokes, phenomenal at the end of that game.
2 real hard-hitting players, and 2 real champions. I know Azarenka's won Grand Slams, but Svitolina's only got as far as semi-final, but she is an Olympic gold medalist or silver medalist. Like she's been at these stages before, but I just think there was just an amazing electric atmosphere in the stadium, and both players rise. I think they were playing their best tennis. I do think that was probably one of the best women's matches that we've seen this year, other than maybe the Australian Open final this year.
There's nothing like it on Central Court when both players are playing phenomenal and the crowd are into it. The atmosphere, it's like you can actually feel it through the television watching, like it's spine tingling.
That's what motivates people to play tennis. I think those kind of matches.
Chris Eubanks' story, is this the story of Wimbledon so far?
I think he's definitely in the limelight.
It has to be the story of Wimbledon.
No, it is. No, he's amazing. Like a kind of a journeyman. You know, he's been at it for a good few years, and then he's made his breakthrough. He has shown signs before Wimbledon, just earlier on this year, kind of in March, when he broke the top 100, and finally, after like 5 years of trying and potentially giving up his career there after COVID. So it's really great to see, you know, a great personality. He's got great presence, and he's got one hell of a serve.
Oh, he's ridiculous.
But it's
27 years of age as well.
27, it's a phenomenal achievement to beat the 5th seed Stefanos Tsitsipas, who not demolished, but you know, comfortably beat Andy Murray in part 2 of their match last Friday. And he was set to be the first ever Greek to reach the quarterfinals of Wimbledon, so that must have played in his mind. But Eubanks, such a, like Shane and Jenny, like you've alluded to it there, but like what a story. Only took up the game professionally 5 years ago, went to Georgia Tech, has a business degree, and to supplement his income, when he was like outside the top 200, he was commentating on the Tennis Channel. So that's why he's such a good talker. But he said, like, what's really interesting about him is he said the commentary actually helped him improve his game. So he was analysing players much better, and there he is on screen there for people who haven't seen him so far, but like so likeable in every way. And also, a month ago he hated grass.
He said it was the stupidest surface.
Stupid. And he's great friends with Kim Clijsters, former multiple Grand Slam champion, who said, like, no, you should love grass, you have the game for it, your serve is brilliant. And it was his footwork he needed to move on. So she was saying you were planting your right foot, and on grass, maybe you can say more on this, on grass you need to tiptoe around a bit more and be a bit looser.
Okay, so as in I didn't hear that part, that he was what he was.
He was too static receiving.
Okay, on open return serve movement. Okay, I did hear that he texted Clijsters a month ago to be like, how do I play on grass, you know? And then she was kind of, as you said there, like told him he's got a big serve, that it should suit his game. And then progressively he won his first ATB title in Mallorca on grass, and then obviously, as we've seen, he's doing very, very well. She's saying she's not taking any credit for it, obviously, because he has to do it out there, but she must have given him a few tips. But on the grass you have to be so slight of foot, obviously, because you have to be so quick around the court, because the ball's moving much faster, you don't have as much time, and he's 6'7", he's so tall, so he has to stay lower to the ground as well.
What was your favourite surface playing? Was it
hard court?
Hard court,
I liked hard, because you were still able to play like powerfully, and I could dictate with my forehand, and you're able to move around. Like the rallies weren't as fast as grass, and then not as slow as clay. So if you put me on a clay court, I wouldn't not the most comfortable.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, because I like to play aggressive tennis. So on the clay court, you kind of get drawn into a bit more of the rallies are longer, so it's not defensive, but the rallies are much longer. It's harder to put a winner away.
Having been on the circuit yourself, can you talk us through like what you would imagine the journey of Eubanks would be for the last 5 years, really struggling, like, and you've already alluded to it, that he was nearly going to walk away from the game because he was struggling so much. He obviously has the talent, like you saw it even in the forehand winner to beat Tsitsipas yesterday. So like yourself, there's so many people with so much talent out there. Like, can you just like take us through like the actual struggle of being a day-to-day tennis player outside of the 2 weeks of a Grand Slam where everyone's watching?
Yeah, well, I think like if you look at Eubanks' case, like, you know, when you're at that stage where he's trying to break the top 200, then he's trying to break the top 100, it's almost he identifies with, then he is just a guy who's always going to be qualies of the Grand Slams, or, you know, it's hard to break in. And like if you look at his record, like he's played, I think something like 5 times he played in the qualifying rounds in the French Open before he finally got in 6 years later. Like that's some perseverance he's had. But I wonder, like, you know, it's the belief now that once he's gotten his breakthrough into top 100 this year, that he can be amongst these guys, and he belongs there. And now you could just see his improvements. He's in the top 40 now. You know, there's a confidence about him and an aura about him that he may not have had while he was trying to break that top 100, or that belief. There's always going to be that doubt there if you're on the periphery and you can't get in 5 years at it. Do you know, like that's heartbreaking stuff. And fair play to him, because some of these guys just need that chance.
Sorry, the stupid question alert. Why is, because to an untrained eye you would think hard court is faster than grass? But you're saying grass is faster than
hard court. Yeah.
Why is that?
With the way
it skips off it.
Yeah, if you think of it like grass outside, the ball doesn't bounce as high on it. Whereas on a hard court, the ball will kind of slightly take some of the grip of the ground, the ball, and bounce up higher. Same on clay, like the ball will hit the grit absorbs a little bit of the ball and then bounces quite high. Whereas on the grass, it's just kind of penetrating through. They're a little bit slower now, the grass, than they used to be. That's why we're seeing a little bit less serve and volleying.
We probably don't have time to get to the Alcaraz-Berrettini match too much. I thought the start of the second set yesterday was the most phenomenal tennis I'd seen in a while, and like the scoreline actually betrays the quality of the tennis, because it looked like a straightforward 4 sets win for Alcaraz. But it was fantastic. But I was on to yesterday, we were chatting when we were watching it, and just for a kind of a snapshot for people who are watching this as casual viewers, who in the remaining players left in the draw, strongest forehand, backhand, serve, who should we watch out for?
On women's side, I'd look for Rybakina for the serve. I think she's got a really, really good serve. On the women's side, very solid, very accurate. Backhand, I'm going women first. Women's, Swiatek, her backhand is definitely one of the best on the tour. She's able to flatten it out and play with a lot of heavy spin. And Sabalenka with the forehand, I think, just with the sheer power that she can get on it. When she's on, that forehand is firing. Then we go to the men's side, and it's kind of hard to look past Djokovic on all three. Just in terms of like his serve, it's
underrated, is it?
Yeah, but it's the placement and the accuracy instead of necessarily the power. But he's just so accurate with it, and in those clutch points like love 15 or 30 all, he always seems to come up with the serve. But then looking at Alcaraz, I'd like to look at Alcaraz's forehand. I just think he's got such variety on his forehand that he probably longer term he's going to have a better forehand than Djokovic.
Is there anyone in the remaining draw on the men's side who has a better ground stroke than Djokovic? Or some shot
at
that
the
is
moment,
superior?
I think Alcaraz drop shots are just crazy. He can play them from anywhere and off any kind of a ball, and I'd say maybe drop shots, but Djokovic is very good at those as well. But I think Alcaraz probably would trump that, and the variety he seems to have, I think we will see in the next few years will trump the actual game style that Djokovic plays. We'll just see so much more variety and spice to Alcaraz's game.
Before you go, can I just ask you about the Djokovic comments on obviously the curfew has stopped a lot of matches at the peak, and it happened with Murray Tsitsipas the night as well. Like Djokovic was saying, he wants the games to maybe start earlier. He plays Andre Rublev in the quarterfinals today, and his previous match against Herbert Hurkacz was over 2 days. So play starts at 1 o'clock on court 1, half 1 on centre, and then you have that 11 p.m. curfew. Djokovic is saying they could start maybe at 12 noon, so an hour earlier possibly. He says he spent 7 hours waiting for his 4th round match to start because those earlier matches ran long. And in the opposite issue, when match resumed for a 4th set on Monday, the previous tie had finished really quickly due to an injury. So does he have a point? Like, should it maybe start earlier? Should we get rid of the curfew? I guess that's an issue for Wimbledon, but complicated one.
I think it's always to do with the media and the broadcasters and money. It's money in those situations. That Wimbledon have said that they're not starting to 1:30 due to broadcasting issues. But I do think for the players, the matches should be brought back earlier. I think 12 o'clock is fairly reasonable, because stopping in the middle of a match, like for example Tsitsipas and Murray, I think Murray could have beaten Tsitsipas the other evening if it wasn't finished because of that curfew. And then the Djokovic Hurkacz maybe Djokovic would have won in 3 sets tonight, but then it ended up in 4. So it does shift the momentum big time, and it gives the players a chance to rest and then go back and talk to their coaches and reassess and change their tactics if needs be. But I just think from a fairness on the players, it would be better if they brought those start times a little bit earlier to stop this issue happening.
Would make sense. Jenny, great stuff as always. Thanks for hopping in.
Thanks for being here, guys.